Paltrocast.
Can I
Mark,
keep
I'm
this
gonna.
plant in the shot?
Well, the wife's plants are there. Your plants are there. Mark, good morning.
Good
Uh,
morning.
how is your day going aside from having to talk to this guy?
It's great. I'll be honest with you off the top. I'm not I don't do these a lot because I don't feel I'm good at them.
Wait. A
Give you
stand-up comic is afraid of public speaking?
yes. Because on stage I'm not talking about me. So it's
Well, I'm going to interrupt you and start with the compliments
okay.
because that will put you at ease and make you
I like
tolerate
it.
about 15 minutes of
But
this.
don't you butter me at the top and then really hard hit me in the middle? Is that how journalism works?
You're overestimating me by calling me a journalist. I say person who talks to you, then chops it up into text and video and puts it out into the world and shows you how likable you are.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so you get quoted a lot in this household. You as the coach on Letterkenny, every now and then a garbage can gets kicked over and
Nice.
something's embarrassing. Now, the first time that you said that, did you know, hey, this is a catchphrase that's going to stick around for a long time?
No. I had no clue that that would happen, but it's a lovely surprise.
And in general, did you know that Letterkenny was going to be this long-standing cult comedy?
That's a great question. Number one, I don't think I ever think in those terms. I'm pretty good at just going, oh, this is great. I have a job. So I don't really think beyond that. For me personally, I thought I was just going in for the day and that was going to be it. So I didn't have too much invested beyond that. But then 11 seasons later and all these tours, it was the greatest thing to be asked to do. I mean, I wasn't the original coach. Um, so I didn't have a lot of time to even think about it. I had like a week. Jacob had worked with me on Mr. D, and which is another Canadian show. And he said, "Well, why don't we get Mark to fill in?" And I had no idea and no expectations. But looking back, if someone had asked me, "Do you think?" I think it had all the markings of something that could really take off.
Makes a lot of sense. And as I said, it is a favorite in this household. You get
That's great.
quoted, etc. But that's only one facet of what you do because you're an award-winning stand-up comic. So is the acting success that you've had a fluke? Is it not something that you were planning for? Or are you a comic who just said yes to one or two acting roles and it kept growing?
Well, I mean, I started out in theater, did that for a year, did not enjoy it in any way. So I kind of got into stand up because I wanted to remove all the parts of theater I didn't like. So it was just me. And then stand up kind of got me into television because first thing I worked on was the John Doerr television show, who John I had met doing stand up. And then I did Mr. D because I met Jerry doing stand up. And then, everything sort of led from stand up. But I mean, I'd always had inklings of wanting to be an actor. So it's just kind of, I've been very, very fortunate to fall into kind people that want to use me.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. John Doerr hasn't had you on one of his job interview things, right?
No, that would be a lot of fun, but no. Um, yeah, we had a great time on that show. That was a real learning experience for me, that show. So I don't think you can see it anywhere, but it's almost so underground. You got to find it like
It's so punk rock that
yeah, punk
yeah.
exactly punk rock. Yeah, you really got to look to find that one.
So we were connected because you have upcoming stand-up dates that take you through a mix of Canadian and US cities, including Pittsburgh. No New York date that I'm aware of, but
No.
should we be holding out hope that this is a recurring thing, that you'll keep booking batches of 8 to 12 dates and eventually we get you in New York?
Yeah, well, here I don't look again. I try not to look beyond what's happening, but this was definitely a test to see if there was interest. The last tour was great, and there was a lot of people that enjoyed what I did, and so the people at New Metric, you know, backed me, and Jared backed me and said, "Let's see what's out there." So we put this out, and it's selling great, and people
Hmm?
seem happy, and so yeah, I mean, if I was a betting man, I would say there's going to be additional cities, and I would hope there is because I would love to do it. I'm so excited about these eight, but I'm not someone who thinks beyond those eight. I just want to go and enjoy those eight, and hopefully more good fortune comes along. But I'd love to. I would love to. That's my answer. I would love to. I guess I could have just see what I mean. I just ramble. I would
I don't
love
see
to.
it. I don't see it like that. I see that as charm and charisma and Mark just being this likable, relatable dude, right?
Well, it's taken a long time to get to that, but yeah, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
the way I see it with Letterkenny, and this is a compliment, is basically you guys are in the position to become Jackass adjacent, where, okay, first off, every now and then you do a season, you do a movie, you do some kind of project, but then you're like, okay, so the A people can do a stand-up tour or something like that, the B people can do one, we're going to tie in, we're going to have random brand tie-ins like Puppers. I
Yeah.
don't think that everyone knew that that was going to become a real beer.
Yeah. What creative marketing that is, right? To just
Yeah.
go, let's make that beer real. And yeah, can you get it in the States? I don't even know. Can you
Uh,
get poppers in the States?
I think that there's two versions of the states when it comes to Canadian comedy. You
Okay.
have your upstate New York markets that are basically Canada, where you
Right.
get everything that exists in Canada, and then you have the rest of the states. So I'm going to say that parts of upstate New York have it. That's going to
Okay.
be my guess. I haven't seen it down here in downstate New York, which
Okay.
I think is a crime against humanity, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm guessing there's some liquor distribution issue or but I think it will be that I think we bring it on tour. I think we do. I'll have to ask some questions. I think
It is the comedy equivalent of Sammy Hagar bringing his Cabo Wabo tequila everywhere.
that's a great that's a great reference that I would never have pulled out of a hat. This is nice.
We've got a few of them over here. So, we know about you, the actor, and you do pop up in a lot of things outside of Letterkenny. We know about you as the stand up, but what's life like when you're not busy with work? Are you the kind of comic that goes, well, I'm a literary person and I read and I'm pursuing my academic endeavors?
So
Or are you like a sports kind of comic? Because let's face it, a lot of comics are way into sports.
yeah, they're either into sports or they're into music or they're into I kind of don't fit into the mold. So I don't read. I just took up bike riding like 3 years ago, and I've kind of really entrenched myself in that and riding my bike and camping off my bike, and that's been great. But I wasn't an athlete at all, so it's kind of strange to play coach and especially when people tweet me like, "What do you think of my team?" and what do you feel about this? I'm like, I have no experience with that. I wanted to be an athlete. I tried hard to be an athlete.
Yeah.
I tried out the only team I ever made, and I think I've said this every time this question's been asked, but I only have so many experiences that are my own. But I tried out for the 4x400, and four guys showed up, and I got on the team. And to be honest, when I was on the team, it was the most terrifying thing I think I've ever done in my life. So I don't know how athletes do it. When I watch sports, the anxiety I feel for them is huge. Like failure of that magnitude, I don't understand how they deal with it.
In the 4x4 team, were you the anchor or
I think I
kicking it
was
off?
third. I was third. And then the fourth guy was like almost Olympian. So I got us so far behind.
I guess you can kind of compare that in stand up to being the feature act if you're in
Yeah.
the middle of that, where if the opener or the host is tanking that evening, it doesn't even matter how good or bad you are.
You're already in a hole if they're tanking off the top. Yeah, you're not winning that race. You
So
can take
when
out of it a bit and make it respectable, but yeah.
unless you keep doing the yes and improv awful stuff, then
What? Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess you can save it. So I haven't seen your stand up besides a couple of YouTube clips. Is it the kind of thing where you're forced to go and on the set of Letterkenny, or is it just you and they're coming to see you and then so what about Letterkenny?
Um, we're gonna do it in a way that I welcome them, and we'll talk a bit if my dogs are barking. Sorry,
Yeah.
just one sec here. Shut up.
No animal cruelty right there.
Yeah.
That's empathy. That's training.
Uh, yeah. I was gonna make a dog. My dogs are barking. Isn't that when your feet are tired? Um, what was the question again?
So sometimes when you see
Oh,
somebody
right.
recognized from TV, they just make it all about that TV show, and it can be embarrassing.
Yes.
And then other people can do it tastefully. I'm going to assume that you do it tastefully. There's a little letter, Kenny, maybe a little Q&A, but it's
Yeah.
otherwise.
So we're gonna open. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna break that bubble, so to say, and give them that moment because I feel they deserve that moment of, we're here for Letterkenny. Let's talk about it a bit, and then we'll go into stand up, and then it's a stand up show from then on out. But from the minds of people who are a part of the show. So, I mean, Ali and Olivia are writers on the show, so they have to have the mindset of the show, and of course Jeff plays Alexander on the show.
Mhm.
Jeff's been doing stand up for 15 years and is a pro and yeah, I think there is a bit, if I'm being honest, a bit of like, you've come for this. This is what got you here, but now we have to put on a great show that you leave going, well, that was great. I think there's a bit of that for sure. You have to be
Got it.
honest about it.
So are we allowed to know where we're going to see you next on screen, or do we just have to keep checking the Instagram to know when it's okay to see Mark?
I just was in a show called Bria Mac Gets a Life, which just started airing up here on Crave. It's not available in the States. So yeah, I'm out there quietly. I love quietly doing my work. That's what that's what I love.
Did you become less social as time went on, or did you go into comedy because you were not social?
That's a great question. I think I became less social over time. I just I think I just got to a place where I didn't need approval as much off the stage. I think, but
Wow.
I think that
That,
comes with age, right? I think so. I don't know.
that's actually a brave and awesome thing to say, that the older you get, the less you seek the approval and care about that stuff. That's actually an enlightened human being thing that you just said.
Well, I try my best to be enlightened, but I think that need for approval in life can also lead you astray and down roads that you didn't actually want to go down. So, um, yeah, it's good to just be happy with yourself.
Before I ask my last question, to be self-indulgent here, I went to a concert last
Nice.
night, and I was walking into Manhattan, the train station, and walking around to the concert venue, and I kind of realized last night, like, none of this is for me. Why am I a city person? What do I like about the city anymore? Did you
Uh,
ever hit that point? And this is not the last question. Do you ever hit that point where you go, what is this city stuff?
yeah, but I mean, I did that 6 years ago. I was living in the city for 20 years, and I pre-pandemic, luckily, said it's time to get out. And I'll tell you, Darren, if you get out, you're not going to look back.
I got out. I live in a beach town, even though I hate the beach.
Nice.
It kind of works, but
It's the best, isn't it? It's just letting go of that. I think it's something inside us that says we need to be there, but we don't. And I think that happened in the pandemic too. When the pause happened, everyone was like, well, wait a minute, I don't actually like a lot of this.
yeah, I was looking at a bunch of restaurants while I was walking to that concert. And go, I don't want to try any of these places, and I was trying to figure out: is there something wrong with me, or is this just normal human behavior that you reject all the commercialism? I don't know, Mark. You have it figured out, but
You've opened a Pandora's box of ideas. I don't know where that comes from. I think it's part of like I think I have enough. So I'm just gonna stick with this. I don't know. I don't know.
the Zen of Mark Forward might be a book coming soon. But
Yeah.
the last question, you said, hey, some comics are music people.
Mhm.
I get the vibe there's a lot of that in the Letterkenny world. What's the last concert that you went to for fun?
This is a great question. So again, Jared, so in tune with music, so in tune with what's coming out and what's new and what's fresh. I personally got stuck in the 80s and kind of never grew out of that. But I think that happens to a lot of people, right? Because you connect that music at a real growing point in your life, and then it just sticks with you. But I am not up to date on what is going on. But Jared puts all these songs in the show, and people
Yeah,
are always like, "What is that? Where did that come from?" And I have no clue. But also, it's so great at supporting artists that maybe need it, which is great as well.
for sure. So when you say 80s, that goes in a lot of directions because you could be saying Corey Hart. You could be saying Van Halen and 80s metal. You could be
It's
saying hip hop.
Here's the thing. In the 80s, I was very diverse. So I did like Van Halen. I did like Corey Hart, Duran Duran. I liked Depeche Mode. I liked it all. So I could have branched off and I could have kept going and exploring music, but I sort of just stopped for some reason.
So
So
does that just mean you put the 80s on 8 or whatever the equivalent is and you go, it's the 80s, I like it? Or are
yeah,
there 80s artists you go, they're coming to town, I'm seeing this in concert?
I I think I've seen 4 concerts in my life.
Oh, so you're not a concert guy. So that
Wow.
is an intriguing thing. The live performer does not like live performances.
This is true. I mean,
Mark,
I literally could start the show with "Why are you people here?" Um, yeah, I don't know why I never got into concerts. I see how much fun it is. I guess it's like your restaurant thing. You see the restaurant, you see all those people inside having a good time, but you choose to avoid it for whatever reason.
yeah,
I mean, I think I saw Neil Diamond. I saw I saw Van Halen once.
oh,
Uh, in Barrie, Ontario, I believe at an outdoor and I'm trying to remember, I think it was Hagar.
it would have, I'm gonna guess it would have been Hagar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Hagar. Yeah, but no, I haven't seen a lot of concerts in my life.
Well, if we can wrap this up with a bow here, we say the Zen of Mark Forward coming soon to bookstores. But the Letterkenny tour, etc. We see you in movies, we see you in film. Keep checking the Instagram, but very refreshing voice and comedy you have, and it's great
Thank
to
you.
see you at a high level. So many years after winning the Canadian Comedy Award, for most people, that would be the kiss of death.
Yeah,
Not for you. So keep up all the greatness, and looking
thank
forward to
you.
whatever's coming next.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Paltrocast.